People moving out, people moving in. Why? Because of the color of their skin. Run, 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 but you sure can't hide. Well, nobody's interested in learning but the teacher. Segregation, determination, demonstration, integration, aggravation, humiliation, obligation to our nation.
Good morning and welcome to Detroit Wants to Know. You know, my friends, a lot of people have complained that Quicken Loans, Rock Ventures, is creating an island unto themselves in downtown Detroit. Well, today I'm going to dispel that myth. This is my good friend Leslie Andrews, the Director of Community Partnerships. Correct me.
Director of Community Relations and Corporate Partnerships.
Community Relations and Corporate Partnerships.
Yes.
Okay, Leslie, real quick question. I hear that you all have you've given $5 million to charities outside of Quicken.
Well, I'd like to make a small correction, if I may. It's $10 million to over 250 charities.
Small correction? That's like saying I'm anorexic. That's huge. $10 million to 250 charities.
Yes.
Okay, and that's Detroit and everywhere Quicken is located.
Michigan, Ohio, North Carolina, and Arizona.
Wow, but the bulk of it is?
I'd say 95% of it is in Detroit.
95% is in Detroit.
Yes.
Okay, how do you give that money? I mean, what happens?
Well, we actually look at the areas where we want to focus our giving. And we have 8 areas where we focus a lot of our funding. Some of them are education, workforce development, neighborhood revitalization, downtown revitalization. We look at all kinds of civic organizations and things, and we take in those applications and we see where we can make the most impact.
Okay, you take in those applications. I want to come back to the application process, but another part of your giving is the actual person hours on the ground. Is it true that you all have put 40,000 person hours on the ground for nonprofits?
40,000 hours, over 40,000 hours, 440 different projects around the city, again in all those markets that I mentioned earlier. And on top of that, if an employee or a team member is really excited or passionate about some other nonprofit or charitable effort, then they also get 8 paid hours that they can go and do that work, and we take care of that as well.
Now, is it true you helped NSO refit the telephone building into apartments?
Actually, that's one of the projects that I am most proud. We did do a significant capital campaign gift that allowed them to complete the work over at the NSO building, the old Michigan Bell building on Oakman, yes.
Now, that's a nice area.
Yes.
Okay, but you also went into Akibalon Village. It's there over there on Harper near Van Dyke, that whole thing. Tell us about what you did at Akibalon Village.
Everything from physical plant, which is what we call some of the restorations of repairing the roof and the buildings, some things that they needed that were desperate in need at that point. Their computer labs, some of their programming, wherever they had a need, we just got them back up to speed where they could be highly functional and continue to serve that community. So we were really excited about that partnership, which continues.
That's amazing. Now also, last year you all partnered with Detroit Neighborhoods Day through another nonprofit, and this year I understand you're going to go off on your own, and I know we're going to hear about it later, but are you guys really remodeling schools?
We are remodeling a school. As a matter of fact, I'm excited to be looking at a final walkthrough today. But we're going to remodel the school. We did do a project last year, the first weekend in August. We had almost 1,200 of our team members, and we hit the north end of Detroit and tried to make a significant impact, but we wanted something we could measure over time. So going back to that school and actually redoing both inside and outside with the blessing of the leadership of that school and with the assistance of the teachers in that school. We're looking forward to making a significant change that they can manage over the school year and hopefully positively impact education there.
Okay, last question. We've talked about everything you're doing, how much you've given. How does a nonprofit, a CDC or whatever, get into the Quicken pipeline and get a donation? At least be looked at for a donation. How does that happen?
We encourage them to go to quickenloans.org. First look at what we fund and who we funded so you can get some background, and that'll help you when you click on
quickenloans.org.
quickenloans.org. And once you've actually visited the page and you've done some clicks and seen some of the things that we fund, organizations that we've partnered with, there is an apply for support button, and you can click on that and the application comes straight to my desk, and I'll review it at that point and we'll go forward from there.
Okay. Ms. Andrews, I'm going to visit with some of your other people now.
Okay.
And
Wonderful.
we're going to see if you guys are really building outside of the island that is downtown.
I welcome it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back from Quicken Loans, building more than just downtown. Welcome back to Detroit Wants to Know. In our last segment, we discussed the countless volunteer hours put in by Quicken Loans company's employees. I have Jamie Solajek with me, the volunteer coordinator. Jamie, 40,000 hours, really?
40,000 hours, really. Our team members are dedicated to the city of Detroit, and we have participated in countless volunteer events, and we'll do it again this year.
Okay, what type of things do you do that you have those volunteers do? What do they do?
All kinds of things, anything from packing food boxes for families in need, to gardening at urban gardens, to planting trees, to remodeling and building homes.
Now, let's talk about the remodeling and building homes. You have Chris Lambert here today, and of Life Remodeled. What in the world do you all do with Life Remodeled?
Life Remodeled is one of our nonprofit partners. Last year, we partnered with them on a huge project. We actually had about 1,300 team members out in one of Detroit's neighborhoods, and we actually took on about 50 city blocks in a matter of a few days.
But this year, is it true you're actually remodeling a school?
Yeah, we're really excited.
Tell us about that, Chris.
Okay, so we're Life Remodeled. We remodel lives one neighborhood at a time, and we have now switched gears. In the past, we used to build houses in 6 days, but now we're
Like Habitat for Humanity.
like Habitat for Humanity. But we also did major blight removal efforts, and Quicken Loans really set a standard for companies last year by bringing out those 1,300 people, and actually now many have followed suit. So we've expanded. This year we're going to remodel Cody High School. We're also going to be doing exterior projects on Mann, an elementary school, and Henderson, which is a K-8 school, which Quicken Loans has adopted. They're going to do a phenomenal work there, exterior painting, making this thing just look beautiful with murals. You know, they're big on color, and it's going to look absolutely fantastic. They're also going to remove blight in the surrounding neighborhood and just tie in with the overall vision, which is removing blight, creating beauty, creating safe and inspirational pathways for kids traveling to and from school, and radically changing these 3 schools.
So how many volunteers do you think will come from Quicken this year to help with the school remodeling?
I'll let her answer
You
that.
don't want to hear.
Actually, we're looking at getting bigger and better. So we're looking at about 1,500 team members over the course of 3 days this year.
Now, you've brought these team members in from outside of Detroit, and now they work downtown. Now you're shooting them out to the neighborhood. What is the reaction of the team members when they actually go out into the neighborhoods?
People's eyes are just opened.
I bet you they are.
Yeah, last year we had some great experiences. Some of the folks living in the neighborhoods came out and greeted our team members. There was lots of thinking going on. People were bringing out cookies. We felt really welcomed, and so we were so excited when Life Remodeled brought Cody and Henderson into the mix this year, so our team members can get out into that neighborhood and meet those neighbors.
Well, people in Detroit have been used to seeing the Habitat for Humanity people come out and build a house in 6 days, boom, boom, boom. But seeing something on the scale of 1,500 people descend on a neighborhood, that's pretty big. Chris, has it been hard for you to manage all this?
Has it been hard? What do you think?
I don't know.
Absolutely, yes. It's extremely challenging. Really, we're this very lean organization. We have an amazingly, incredibly talented staff and this awesome team of volunteers we call a task force. What we do is we organize these entire impossible projects, but it's really our partners in the business world and a variety of other domains like Quicken Loans that execute and make it happen. So we're counting on them to come to the table and take off either a big piece, a medium piece, a small piece. And whenever a company takes on a big piece like this, it makes our life a whole lot more exciting.
Well, it becomes a challenge to everybody else.
Right.
I mean, because you have the other big players in town. You have the DMCs, you have GM, Blue Cross, Blue Shield.
Yes.
Big players in town. So now the bar has been set.
It's been set. And you know, Quicken Loans has their isms. We have a mantra. One of our mantras is we don't serve neighborhoods, we serve with neighborhoods. That's one of the reasons we've gone to remodeling the schools. And what we're going to see this year is even a larger scale of what Jamie mentioned happened last year, where students are going to be coming out, neighbors are going to be coming out, working hand in hand with all the volunteers.
Chris, I want you to look into that camera right there
Okay.
and say that mantra once again.
Our mantra is we don't serve neighborhoods, we serve with neighborhoods.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with Detroit Wants to Know, serving with neighborhoods. Welcome back to Detroit Wants to Know. This week we're concentrating on the philanthropic efforts of Quicken Loans. I have my good friend Michelle Salvatore back again. Michelle, last time you were here,
Yes.
you talked about what you're doing at Osborne.
Yes.
All right, and I
Yes.
said I would have you back.
I'm
Give me a
thrilled
little
to be
bit more
here.
detail about that Osborne thing.
Yeah, it's a great program. You know, Quicken Loans, we're very excited to be able to give back in the community. And one of our big focuses is workforce development and development within education systems. And so we've teamed up with United Way to provide that to Osborne High School. And Paul can tell you a little bit about that.
And this is Paul Hernandez of United Way. Paul, welcome to Detroit Wants to Know.
Thank you.
Tell me about Osborne. What's going on over there?
Well, Osborne is one of our schools. We have a total of 15 schools within the United Way network, and Osborne happens to be one of them. We're doing an enormous amount of work there. I mean, from focusing on mentoring programs to focusing on academics to so many other things there. And Quicken is definitely a corporate partner that serves a big role in what we're trying to do there in terms of improving graduation rates, college and career readiness, all of these things rolled up into one. These things couldn't be done without Quicken Loans and partners like that.
Okay. So how is it actually working in Osborne, Michelle?
It's working tremendously well. We have 35 mentors from within the recruiting team. And the reason that we chose the recruiting team is because we're very focused on employment. And one of the goals when these folks graduate from high school is to gain employment. And during, so whether they're going to high school or going through college, but be able to work during that period of time and then gainfully employed after that. And so it allows us the opportunity to teach them things like personal branding. How do you act in an interview? How should you act in an interview? What about a phone interview? What's different? The benefits of a credit check and keeping clean credit and a clean background check for employment purposes. All of those things are extremely important, and so we're allowed the opportunity to give that back to those students.
Okay. Mr. Hernandez, what do you see out of these students? You're in 15 schools. Do you see any growth? Do you see any movement, or is this all just being on some sort of habitual
Oh, no,
life?
absolutely. I mean, growth is an understatement. I mean, it's immense in terms of what we've seen with the students from when we first started working with them in Quicken to where they're currently at. From small qualitative things on how they began the program, how they were shy, they were a bit awkward. That's including the adults, right? How we started that way and how we moved on to a point where we have true connections and collaboration. And really, that's the essence of learning. When you have this connection between students and adults and really trying to move forward from there.
Okay. Mr. Hernandez, and I thank you for this, Michelle, but I've got to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
All right. I see that you're tatted up here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Usually, United Way has a really stodgy air about it. What is this? What's up with the man with the tats? Where do you come from?
I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, born and raised into a single mother household. My mama was a single mother, raising my brothers and I. I spent most of my life engulfed in the streets of LA around the gang culture and gang life. And I'm a former dropout and eventually took myself from that to achieving my PhD. And it's that you see with the tattoos and everything that's a part of my history and a part of my life. But really, truly, I'm a grown-up version of the students that we're serving. And that's a huge component to be able to contribute to, you know, a company like Quicken and to work together and bring both of our different levels of expertise in a manner that allows us to contribute is just absolutely amazing in what we're able to do.
So you're finding that your past helps them shape their future.
Absolutely. Yeah. Our students need to see more people like myself. More people who come from that same place, who lived it, who breathed it, who are still a part of it in many ways in respects to my whole family is still back in the same place. But they need to see the grown-up versions of us in terms of being successful, having PhDs, wearing the suit and the tie when need be, and still being able to be who you've always been.
Because you are a doctor.
Yes, sir.
All right. Michelle, I think it's awesome what you're doing at Osborne.
Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez, Dr. Hernandez, I want to thank you very much for coming on. And thank you, number one, for dispelling the myths about Quicken, but also the myths about United Way. I mean, I never would have thought. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with the one population we haven't talked about. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Detroit Wants to Know. This week, we've gone the gamut of the giving by Quicken Loans. But there's only one population we forgot that I haven't heard anything about, and those are the veterans. Leslie, you're back here. What are you doing for our huge veteran population in Detroit? All these people that risk their lives for this country, that are sitting around here homeless and destitute and having all sorts of problems. What is Quicken Loans doing for them?
I am so glad you asked, because we are very dedicated to our veteran population. We have some programs that we have supported through our partners, one of which is Neighborhood Service Organization, or NSO, that we talked about earlier, and they serve the veteran population, both homeless and those who are transitional. Then we also support American Red Cross. And as a matter of fact, we're very excited because coming up we're going to do a comfort kit build where we're putting together kits for the veterans who may be homeless, who may be transitional, who may have not just landed where they needed to land, but to give them some things to bring them comfort. So we're very excited about that as well. But always knowing that we are committed to doing well by doing good. We have our veterans coordinator here with me, because I had to bring him with me, John Gardner. I always travel with my team. And John can tell you a lot more about what we're doing for veterans.
Well, John, welcome to Detroit Wants to Know. So what are you doing for veterans? Are you a veteran yourself?
I am a veteran.
Really? Which war?
Air Force. 24 years, active duty, retired.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Way before the drone.
Yes.
So what are you guys doing for veterans?
What we're doing for veterans is my position was created because it was a huge initiative at Quicken Loans. And so what we started out by doing was going out to the vet community, reaching out to vet organizations, different vet organizations like Hiring Our Heroes and things like that, putting the word out that we were serious about hiring veterans. And so once we got our candidate pool up, one of the things that I do is talk to each and every veteran candidate to kind of give them some insight to Quicken Loans and our culture, get them prepared for the interview that they're going to be doing for some of the positions that they're interested in, and then trying to get them hired.
So if you're a veteran, how do you contact Quicken Loans?
You can contact Quicken Loans by going to quickenloanscareers.com.
Okay.
And you can also give me a call, 313-373-4794. Always looking to talk to other veterans who are interested in looking at our company.
Are the veterans that you see coming through the door, are they prepared for work, or do you have to do much remedial work? Do you have to soothe? What's going on?
So many of the veterans are prepared. I think that some of the things that I have to do is talk to them about resume preparation, talk to them about certain things that they should and should not say during the interview. Sometimes that is the hardest part of the transition, is to not speak so military when we're dealing with a civilian company.
Okay. Leslie, this has been an amazing tour that you've given us. Is there anything you want to add about Quicken Loans building beyond downtown, building the entire village that is Detroit?
Well, you know, one of the projects that we have upcoming that we were very, very excited about, specifically for veterans, since we're talking about them, is the Paquette Square project. And there is a park that they're building behind Paquette Square, which is located 2 blocks off of Woodward, just east of Woodward. And Paquette Square is a transitional housing facility for homeless veterans. So it is permanent housing for them, as well as all of the other ancillary programs that they need. And behind there was just this plot of land, and now it's going to be a park for veterans, their families, even for citizens, everyone to attend. So we're happy to have supported that over the course of the last couple of years. We're looking forward to an amazing ribbon cutting that's going to take place. We're sponsoring the basketball courts on there, so we're very excited about that. And just again, our commitment to veterans and making sure that we expand it and deepen it, because it's important. They serve the country, and we're very proud of them, and we're very proud to serve and help them.
Okay. Well, Leslie, we're about to wrap up. Can you give us that website again where nonprofits can go to see if they could qualify for funding from Quicken Loans?
www.quickenloans.org.
Okay. And for you, if they're a veteran, what is it again?
quickenloanscareers.com. And also I wanted to mention another program that we started too, is our Tour Duty program. It is a program that's helping transitioning veterans that are leaving the military, giving them an awesome opportunity to come in and get some civilian experience using their military skills, making a transition to the civilian world.
And they can get that at
quickenloanscareers.com.
Okay. I want to thank you both, John.
Thank you.
All right. Leslie, once again, thank you for this wonderful overview of Quicken.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week. And remember, Quicken is building beyond the borders of downtown. It's your city. Enjoy it. Grow. Have a great week.
Yeah.